I think there are two really giant macro events that are occurring in the world that have the most impact on firms, and one is very well known and one is not talked about much. The one that's very known is that 52% of the laboring force just entered the world economy. China and India have become integrated into the world economy, and we really have one world economically for the first time ever. This has never happened in world history before, and because of the sheer size of numbers, that's a huge event that impacts every organization. And we're still seeing the ramifications of this. You know, India and China have a huge amount of people who are studying computer science. Everyone thinks they're just going to do back office stuff, but that's not true at all. There's no truth to that. Wait till they start getting those schools up and running, which they're doing literally as we speak. You'll see rapid changes in the world. It's much harder to be a scientist now because there's more things to know from more countries.
We have to do with globalization, internationalization, increased competition, and so constant change will be the standard procedure for firms.
I think some of the key trends impacting organisations and how people work are the speed of change. Change is getting faster all the time, and the smart organisations will embrace this change.
The second is the breakdown of the monopoly of useful knowledge that was held by the US, Western Europe, and Japan. For the last 100 years or so, three places had really all the sources of developing and using useful knowledge, technology, management knowledge, and this was, again, the US, Western Europe, and Japan. That's gone, and it's gone for good. The third change that probably brings us more to what I really know best is the absolute plummeting of information transaction costs. Information used to be a valuable thing. It was valuable to acquire it, to use it. It could make a fortune for you. Your own country, Holland's a good example of that. They had better information from more sources. They had networks around the world, and they became a wealthy country, although having very little natural resources. That's changed with technology.
Today, after the dot-com boom, the world is loaded with dark fiber that's being lit up to bring us broadband. Now that we have that component, the cloud becomes the computer. The first internet was a read-only web, brochureware. Second internet that we're experiencing today is read and write. You can put your stuff up at YouTube, you can do a blog. The next level that we're building now using cloud computing is going to be read, write, and execute. And it won't be just transactional processes, straight through processing. It will be how we actually communicate and collaborate.
Look how internet made it possible for us to work from home, to log into the networks. Look what a computer did to change the way we work. 25 years ago we worked totally different, and now we do it in another way thanks to the computers. Now, in the future, with artificial intelligence gearing up, more artificial intelligence, more possibilities with that, it will help us to use and to exploit our real talents. Why go in a traffic jam 2 hours and then to meet someone for half an hour instead? Why can't you do it electronically? Why can't we do it with holograms? Why can't we do it? And all these things, like holograms, like electronic conferencing, these things will change, of course, the way we work.
I think in the past, managers have focused on technology and technological change. That's still important. Only I don't think that changing technology is the most important factor now. And from our research, it shows that innovation success depends for a certain degree on investment in technological innovation. 25% of innovation is a result of investment in technological innovation. But investment in social innovation, new ways of management, flat organizing, investing in your people, that explains 75% of your innovation success. 75%.
Innovation is so radical. Companies like Procter & Gamble and elsewhere, they know they can't innovate just within their R&D labs, so they're reaching out to open innovation.
I'd say information, the costs of gathering information, the cost of getting it and using it are almost zero. That raises the value of non-information, which is what knowledge is. So as information drops in value because it's a commodity that almost any child can obtain, The things that give information meaning, which is what knowledge is, it gives meaning to information, rises in value. And that's, again, spread over the world, but there's still a great market for it.
We have learned, despite that we want to standardize everything, etc. But that's the differentiator for the market. That is our knowledge, which means that are our people.
Not only do we have the right expertise in-house, but are we getting them influential in the network and the connections that need to happen in the right way to drive things ahead.
There's a real war for brains, a real war for talent going on. It used to be that people in the United States, for example, we had many, many people, let's say from India, who came to the US, studied computer science or engineering and stayed in the US and added to the capital of the United States, the intellectual capital and the human capital. I have quite a few friends, I'd say, who did that. That's gone. They now go home. They can find work in India. They prefer to be in their own country.
We live in the era of the dying dinosaurs. There's no question. The question is not, is there a need for organizations to change? The reality is that organizations will just disappear because the principles of the last era have now come to their limits. We have now learned that economy of scale, under the argument that it will bring efficiency, is no longer valid.